I had the answer here.
Yeah.
I just had to pull it up, and I knew that I could do that with people, or with women. And I just felt like, I think I can be the encourager, because I was an encourager in all those other places, and I think I could encourage and help women actually set some goals and really become who they want to be.
I am really excited today because this has been something I've been wanting to do for a long time, Tracey, is sit down and just have a conversation about who you are and what you do, and especially the journey you've been on. Because I remember 18 years ago when you walked across that parking lot out there in front of Evangel and came in the first time when we met, and you were traumatized by some events that had happened in your life. I mean, you were a mess.
I was.
And the cool part about that is you were in a perfect place for God to meet you and begin rebuilding you. So, we're going to talk today about Awaken Life Coaching and the ministry that you have. But I really want people to understand that you're not just giving advice to people, but you're reflecting on your own life and the things that God has taken you through. And you are really bringing the gold out of the pain that you've been through. And so it's a whole different story than going to school and learning how to be a life coach or learning how to be anything.
Right.
What you're bringing to the table has come out of personal experience.
Yeah.
So maybe you could talk about what that journey was like, that first 9 years. There was 9 years of recovery and restoration, getting strengthened and built up. Then the last 9 years has been Awaken Life Coaching. So that first 9 years, what is it that you noticed first about what God wanted to do in you?
Well, hi, Jeff. Yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I was sitting out in the parking lot, and I had gone through the parking lot a lot, and I was going to Shekinah at the time, but I had heard about Evangel. Actually, I was at Evangel with Rose Valley, a few people from there, a couple nights, and it was a weird church. Just saying. But I went through the parking lot, and every time I was too scared because I knew you knew me and I knew you knew my story, but you really didn't know me.
Yeah.
And so that night that I came in, I heard the Lord. It was like it was audible. If you're going to go in, you're going to tell Jeff who you are. You're not hiding anymore because I have something for you that I want to do in your life. And I knew.
So do you realize how weird that is?
It is weird.
That somebody, I don't know if anybody ever did that, on a first meeting, just say, this is who I am and this is where I'm at.
Right. I knew because it was the voice of God.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to be. He said, you're not going to actress anymore. You are going to be authentic, and you're going to be who I created you to be. So we met, and you helped me a lot with getting restored. I had been a special ed teacher for 13 years, had gotten my master's degree, ended up directing a child care out at Rose Valley for 10 years. And then my marriage fell apart, and I came into town and started going. I knew I needed Jesus. Anything else, I didn't know, but I knew I needed Jesus. Yeah. And I had Jesus. I had a relationship, but not what he wanted. Yeah. And he had more for me. Yeah. And so.
Well, you needed more, too.
And I needed more. I wanted more.
The answer for you wasn't about going to church.
No. No, I needed community though, and I knew I was on my own, and I knew that there wasn't anybody that could help me other than Jesus and some people that love Jesus too, to walk with me. And so through a lot of inner healing and some amazing times, people just started embracing me, and they didn't really know me. I knew Jody. I had Jody's mom in my Sunday school class.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. So I knew people, but I actually didn't know people. And so.
Well, what's interesting, too, is that was about the same time we were starting a house of prayer.
It was.
And you had a lot of free time.
I had so much free time.
And you had a lot of desire to be at the feet of Jesus. And so you became a fixture in the house of prayer when we started TriHop here. And you and I spent many a night down here with you and I and a couple of homeless people.
That's right.
Praying,
exactly.
just sitting at the feet of Jesus, enjoying the time. But it was a different experience.
It was.
But it also gave God an opportunity, I think, to meet you here in a way that might not have happened any other way. Maybe.
Oh, that's where I got all my healing. I mean, I worked with a couple people with some inner healing time, but really the big inner healing that happened in me was in the prayer room.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't engaging with homeless people and that type of thing, and I had just time, that's when I got a lot of my insight on my past and why I reacted and how I responded to different people and just my character and who he was saying I was.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't have enough time to go into the cool vision he gave me, but it was amazing. And that whole process was like a year and a half of continuing to, really move into the places what he wanted me to do to get that healing, to get the complete healing that I needed. And of course, healing's like an onion. You peel a little bit and you get healed, and then you peel a little bit more. And, but the Lord's really faithful to keep you on the track if you say yes to him.
But at some point, you felt like, I want to move forward. I want to do something with all this restoration that's happened. And we had a lot of conversations about what that might be. Obviously, TriHop was part of that. But then there seemed to be this hunger in you for more. Can you describe what it was like during that time when he was kind of like birthing Awaken in you?
Yeah. At the time, I was working for a organization, nonprofit called LifeWorks, and I was working in the vocational part because I just went back to my roots of special ed. And so I knew that it was good, and I knew that that was great for a moment, but I knew that the Lord had something else for me. And what he showed me was, even when I was teaching, or I was directing the child care, or then working for this vocational LifeWorks, I was really helping parents. Like with teaching, I was helping parents grieve a dream that they had, but also some dreams for their kids. I was helping the child care parents and the mommies that were upset. And so I knew that as much as I loved working with kids, I knew that there were, especially women out there that had experienced trauma and heartbreak and all sorts of disorganizational stuff in their lives, and things were chaotic. And I knew that I could help them with Jesus, of course.
So talk about that just a sec.
Okay.
You knew that you could help them. What is it that was rising up inside of you that you knew that there was something that you could bring out of your past experience to help them move forward? What was it? Can you nail a little bit about what that is?
Just like when I was going through my junk, Jesus was right there, and I had the solutions inside of me. I just needed to sit and have coffee with people, and you did this a lot, and I learned a lot from you, because you would ask me a question, and I go, oh, I don't know. But then you wouldn't stop. You would ask it again. And then I had the answer here.
Yeah.
I just had to pull it up. And I knew that I could do that with people, or with women. And I just felt like, I think I can be the encourager. Because I was an encourager in all those other places. And I think I could encourage and help women actually set some goals and really become who they want to be, and so that's kind of how it started.
You started Awakening, and we've had a few conversations about starting ministries, and you and I have both been down that path, and we've been down that path together in a lot of ways. What did you learn about what it takes to start from something from nothing?
A lot.
What did it take? What did it bring out in you?
Well, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're stopping a job, and I have to take time out and just say, in the midst of all that, I brought mom and dad over for the end of their lives, and I got a little inheritance, I'm going to be honest. So I had a little cush there to be able to go, oh, both my mom and dad were entrepreneurs. My brother's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, why can't I do this? You know? And so I did have some backing for a while to be able to start it. So the financial part at the beginning wasn't the scary part. It was the, does anybody even know what coaching's about, especially in Longview, Washington? And, you know, that was 9 years ago when coaching was not all that, you know, much. And I remember the day that we had a worship leader who's a real estate person, and he came off the stage. He was packing up his stuff, and I asked him how he was, and he goes, I'm great. I'm working with a coach. This is the best thing. I said, where'd you find a coach? And he said, down in Vancouver, we Skyped. Back in those days, we Skyped. And I go, wow, you know, and he told me, and he was getting his wife all set for that. And he was just thrilled because he had gotten all these goals done, and he was, you know, growing his business and everything, and he felt great. So I had been thinking about it, and then he's the one that kind of got me stirred up, and so I started asking friends to pray about it, and I was getting words from people, and you know, prophetic words, and then people I didn't even know were giving me prophetic words. So then I thought, okay, Lord, you are talking, and I need to do something about this. So
it's been 9 years. What have you learned about coaching, and what have you learned about yourself?
Oh, wow. Let me see, what have I learned about myself? I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned that, you know, I'm real sensitive, and I have a lot of love to give, and a lot of encouragement, and not everybody wants that, but the ones that do really can soar if they want to, and but I can't. What I've learned about myself is I can't fix everybody, and I can't fix anybody, actually.
Right. Only
Jesus can. And then I have also had to learn, because I don't always get Christians for clients. I've had atheists and agnostics and New Age and different branches of religion, if you want to say that, faith. And so I have to allow Jesus to shine through me without even saying his name, because I want to give them an opportunity to really embrace, without them even knowing who they are. And, you know, and then a lot of times I'll go, ooh, why are you so happy or joyful or whatever? What it causes that? And that gives me a lead in to be able to say, I mean, my office is in a church, come on. You know, you got to figure out that I'm a Christian, or that I love Jesus. Yeah. And that's what I usually say now. Well, I just love Jesus. You know, I'm kind of a Jesus freak, but I won't push that on you. I mean, especially if I've seen their intake and they have nothing for spiritual, then I leave them alone. And I tell them that. Yeah. You know, you can have as much or little as you want, but.
One of the things I learned working in pastoral ministry for a long time, and it didn't take very long, but I learned that people don't really need, or usually aren't really helped by your advice.
Exactly.
But what they want to know is they want to know that you care about them, and they want to know that they're valuable, and they want to know that God is there for them as well, and he can get them through this stuff. And it's so easy to give advice, right?
Oh, it is. It's really hard. I try not to. I give suggestions.
I like the fact that you said try not to, because I think that's honest.
It is.
Because it's so easy because of life experiences to tell people, you're being dumb. Stop this.
Yeah.
Because you've been dumb and you've had to stop this. But it's not really what they needed. What you pointed to a little bit ago was the fact that you knew they had the answers inside of them. What's the key to drawing those things out of people that you've learned over the years?
I think listening to their story to begin with. We've talked about that before. Listening to their story, but then asking questions. Questions are really important, because it gets each of us to really start thinking about things.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of gals that come in and say, I just don't know. And they're really adamant about not knowing. And I'm really adamant about you do know. Let's just take some time. Let me re-ask it, and it takes a lot. I mean, I'm having to think all the time, and I'm asking Jesus all the time, okay, help me, help me on this one. But it is inside of us if we dig far enough to pull it out.
That reminds me, one of the first clients you had was an autistic girl.
Yes.
And you worked with her for a long time.
And still
So
am.
I bet you learned a lot about how to pull things out.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting in front of someone who has a hard time articulating things, who has a hard time discovering new things, who is afraid of a lot of things that are new and moving and flashy and all that stuff. So I imagine you learned a lot, Tracey, by working with her over the years.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and just rephrasing things and just being really patient. And especially when you work with somebody that has autism, you just can't force an answer right away. No. And you don't really want to repeat the answer, because what happens with certain developmentally delayed people and autistic is they'll start that process all over again if you ask that question again. Yeah. So it's a little different than asking you a question and then asking you again. Yeah. You don't do that. But with especially autistic and developmentally delayed folks, they just start the process all over. So you have wait time.
But you also saw her really improve too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Her parents are really happy. Yeah. It was fun.
You mentioned women. You only work with women. I
only work with women. I have kind of branched out, and I work with a couple couples if I'm working with the woman first, and that's been kind of fun. Although I'm still single, and I'm like. But I had
Is that an advertisement? Just
yeah.
You want everybody to know that you're single?
Yeah, sure. Let's move on. No, but I had 22 years of a marriage. Yeah. And I had a lot of experience through it. So I can listen. I can hear their story. I can suggest a couple things, like try taking communion, every day with your spouse, simple things. But
so you've been working the last couple weeks on putting together your first women's conference.
I know.
That is birthed out of Awaken.
Right.
That you've got some curriculum that you've created that's been really helpful. You've got some friendships that you're leaning on to help put this on. But how do you feel about what's about to happen with the conference? Because this is coming up in a couple
2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks from today. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you hope happens in people's hearts?
Oh, that's so good. I hope that women can come and find a resting place for them. There's so much going on in the world right now, and there's a lot of things that can bring on fear. There's a lot of things that can really question who they are or what their purpose is. And so I really want them to come and meet Jesus. Yeah. Just come and meet Jesus and just enjoy being together as women, and then we'll let God do what God wants to do. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm going to speak one night, and then I have 2 other speakers, and I've got 2 to 3 worship teams, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun.
Where's it happening when?
Evangel Christian Fellowship is they are also sponsoring, helping, really encouraging me to do this with them. And then I have friends. I do have friends, Jeff, that are helping too. So it's been a lot of fun putting it together.
Date, time, that stuff?
Night, we're going to do Friday night from, I can't remember the times, 5:30 or 6 o'clock until whenever we're done. Yeah. And then in the morning, Saturday, we'll have another speaker and some activity type things, and then we'll have lunch, and then we'll have an afternoon speaker and worship all the time. And I want people to come. I want women to come and really if there's something that needs to be released, if they need to be, healed of something, I mean, the sky's the limit because God, only God. Somebody asked me the other day, why would you put a conference together in 5 weeks? And I said, well, it's only God that could do it. I mean, which is the name of the conference. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I've told you this so many times before, but I think that God prepared you for where you're at right now. I don't think this is just you pursuing your dream.
No.
It's more like God inspiring you to pursue his dream. And I'm so glad you're doing this, Tracey. I'm so glad that you started Awaken 9 years ago. I'm so glad you stuck with it.
Thank you.
When it looked like it was just crazy hard to do. And your life was busy, but I think it's the fruit's coming now. And I'm excited about the fruit that will come through this.
I'm excited too. I can't wait to see what God wants to do.
Yeah.